Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I'm checking out the ONN 10.1 inch Android tablet with a detachable keyboard, available for $59 on Black Friday at Walmart. So yes, you heard correctly. This tablet, or 2-in-1, is going to be available for $59 on Black Friday. Right now, at the time of this video, it's available for $100, so that's going to be the regular price. On the back, it shows you that it includes a USB adapter, USB cable, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of internal storage with a microSD card slot for expandable storage. Inside the box, you get this $20 promo code that you can use towards ebooks. It's on the other side, and I don't want to show it because it's like a unique one. There's the tablet itself here. Underneath that should be the user manual and the wall outlet, as well as a micro USB to recharge the tablet. And then the keyboard itself is underneath here. It's like a foldable keyboard. I'll show you that in a moment. The tablet keyboard just feels like this nice, soft, fake leather. This is kind of magnetic, so you can just set it up this way, and then you can put the tablet on top. There's 5 pins up here to keep the tablet connected. This is pretty easy to take off from the keyboard case. Not hard, easy to put in, easy to take out. And then if you wanted to, you could close this up. The screen won't lock when you close it completely. And you can just take it on the go in a school bag or whatnot. And at its thickest point, it's still just under an inch, maybe just about at this thickest point. And it weighs about like over 2 pounds, almost 3. So that's still lower than your average laptop, assuming the average laptop weighs about 5 pounds. But again, this is a smaller screen. Those would be like 14 inches or 15 inches I'm thinking of. Nonetheless, it's easy to take with you on the go. And as for the tablet itself, just by itself, it is kind of thick compared to other tablets I've tested out. The back has this like nice textured finish. Not sure if the camera is able to pick it up well. On the top left on the back is the camera, the rear 2-megapixel camera. It's kind of protruding. It's not like really bad though or anything. This would still be fine putting it on a flat surface. On the side you have the power button, volume keys, and I believe this is the reset button up here, which it is. All the way to the side is a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the other side of it is the microSD card slot and micro USB port to recharge the tablet. And then there's a speaker grill here, along with another speaker grill being on the other side. But I wonder if it emits from both sides. I highly doubt it, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. And then on the bottom is the magnetic connector. Even when you peel off this cover, there's still a screen protector that comes pre-installed. So that's nice. That's what I like to see. This is actually kind of normal in a lot of tablets, but some of them still don't have it. So this 2-in-1, the only thing that's missing is a trackpad here. And I would say normally that can be a deal breaker, but at $59 on Black Friday, you really can't go wrong with this still. The keyboard does seem pretty responsive from what I was throwing at it earlier. I guess except over there right now. You saw that delay right there? That was the first time I noticed it. But I'm going to have to test this out a little more to see. Unless if it was trying to connect to Wi-Fi or something. I don't know why it was kind of taking a while to load. The other thing I want to mention is that none of these apps can be uninstalled. All the stuff that's pre-installed here, you can't really uninstall any of it, so you just gotta live with it. Another thing, the screen gets pretty bright on here. This isn't enough to use outside in sunlight. And the screen itself is pretty decent. It's not too pixelated. It doesn't feel pixelated because normally you'd be looking at the screen from a distance, and it is a 1280 by 800 display, I believe, so you can watch videos in HD 720p. The only pair that doesn't have buds to fit in your ear. They're more universal with a So it's surprising that the speakers emit from both sides. It seems like there might be 2 speakers inside of here. Even when I did a little sound test for right and left, when only the right side was supposed to be playing, the right side actually was emitting sound and the left side wasn't, and then vice versa. And that's really interesting. And I think this is the first tablet I've even seen with what's the word? Or 2 sound chips or speakers. I can't remember at the moment, but anyways, you can watch videos in 720p here and everything's fine on here. The sound is pretty loud. They sound tinny, of course, nothing crazy, but they're decent in loudness. Videos overall are nice, just testing some out here. I also did some camera tests, and the camera quality seems to be pretty low end. Nothing crazy as to be expected. Images weren't sharp at all by any means. I think the front camera is more important than the rear camera. I took a picture up here, and it's, again, nothing crazy. I think for video calling, it's like going to be tolerable at most, because when I'm moving around just a little bit, it's kind of shaky. So if you're not moving around too much, this should just be fine for just basic Skype calls and whatnot. You know, besides the camera not being completely smooth, the tablet in general, just doing basic stuff, is pretty fluid. I haven't really noticed many slowdowns or anything of that nature, and I like that, you know? That's exactly how a tablet should be, and especially for the price that this is at. There's also a split screen function. Even though it only has 2 gigs of RAM, you can have like 2 apps open at once. And then plus, if you're watching a YouTube video, just in general, let's say I pop this one up, and when you go into the home screen, this should pop down below. Since I had split screen on, I gotta kind of turn that off. So for example, I'm watching a video on YouTube. I can just click the home button and it'll still play on the bottom right. And then while your video is playing, I have this volume low, or I have the volume off so you can't hear it. You can still have the split screen function while you have this, I believe. So let's try this. And see, you technically have 3 things open at once. This is multitasking with 2 gigs of RAM, which is kind of impressive. I'd expect it to be a little slow when navigating around, like kind of like what you saw in the beginning there. Still tolerable for sure. In terms of the keyboard, there is tactile feedback, which is good. Again, no touchpad, so you got to get used to that, or I have to get used to it at least, because I'm used to testing out a lot of these with the trackpad or keypad. I was typing a little bit here, and it seems to be doing a good job. There is a slight delay when typing or backspacing, and if you look at that, there's that delay right there. So if you're a really fast typer, this is definitely going to be noticeable. On the Antutu benchmark, this got a score of over 50,000, and that's actually decent. That's average, but this is more than what I was expecting. It is showing an error that's saying that the GPU is not supported. It is an ARM Mali T720, but it looks like in the RAM area, I'm assuming that the score was kind of mixed with the RAM and GPU down here. I'm only assuming that. I'm not sure about it, because this is a little too high for memory. The CPU is a MT8163 quad-core processor, and again, the GPU is ARM Mali T720. These are pretty basic processors that I see on like every $100 tablet in the last 2-3 years with 2 gigs of RAM, and they tend to perform decently for what they're worth. On the Geekbench score, the single core score was a little low at 118, but the multi-core score was higher than what I expected. Of course, these are still really low in comparison to other devices. And performance-wise, just browsing through the web, it seems fine. Not too much lag or slowdown. I'm not really able to zoom in on this website, Market Watch, but there's a video playing here. I could have it playing, and while I'm going up and down and checking out the article, it doesn't seem like a problem at all. Another important thing to see here is how well games play, and I'm checking out, first game I'm checking out here is called Monster Dash. It's a simple 2D game. I noticed some slight hiccups here and there, but this is still playable for the most part. Next game here is Fruit Ninja, another free game, and it seems to be smoother than what I expected, at least. Not completely smooth in frame rate. Actually, it seems fine. Not bad at all. But yeah, when you're cutting it, I noticed there's a frame rate drop here, and there, and especially if there's like a bunch of them together. Whoops. Yeah, if there's a bunch of fruits together, it's gonna look a little choppy and slower in frame rate when you're trying to cut it. So it might get harder down the line in the game. But yeah, like you notice it. Is it playable? I guess so. Next game here is Call of Duty. And I'm playing in simple mode here, so that means it's pretty much aimbot. It'll automatically aim, because I have a hard time trying to play this game on mobile, to be honest. Yeah, wow, I am surprised at how well games performed overall. Now, of course, they weren't perfect, but for the most part, they were good. Performance overall is good for the price point. And at the time of this video, there's really nothing else I could recommend, because this is easily the cheapest 2-in-1 tablet or laptop, whatever you want to call it. Actually, it's a tablet, 2-in-1 tablet. It's not a full-fledged laptop, so don't expect this to replace a full-fledged laptop, but it's good enough to use it for writing documents and basic tasks like browsing the web, checking emails, and some games here and there. So I'd definitely recommend this. It's a good gift. Not perfect, but again, pretty good for what it's worth. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like if you found this video helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more. As always, thanks for watching.